How many times have you hit snooze and told yourself you're just being lazy? How many afternoons have you spent staring at your to-do list, unable to move, convinced you lack discipline or willpower? If you're reading this and nodding along, I need you to hear me clearly. You are not lazy. What you're experiencing is burnout, and there's a massive difference between the two. Lazy people choose not to work because effort feels unnecessary. Burnout survivors can't work because their mind and body have been pushed past their breaking point. Today, we're breaking down 6 unmistakable signs that prove you're experiencing burnout, not laziness, and why recognizing these signals could be the most important step toward your recovery. Before we dive in, let's look at the numbers because this is more common than you might think. In a comprehensive survey conducted in 2010, researchers found that 75% of adults in the United States reported experiencing symptoms consistent with burnout. That's 3 out of every 4 people walking around feeling exactly what you're feeling. Of those individuals, over 40% described their symptoms as severe. We're not talking about ordinary tiredness here. We're talking about a complete emotional, physical, and mental collapse caused by chronic stress and the inability to effectively cope with it. Burnout isn't a character flaw. It's not a lack of motivation. It's a legitimate psychological and physiological response to prolonged overwhelming pressure, and understanding this distinction is the first step toward healing. Sign number 1, you feel completely disconnected from everything around you. Imagine going through your daily life on complete autopilot. You wake up, you go through the motions, you interact with people, but it all feels hollow and distant. This phenomenon has a name. It's called depersonalization, and it's one of the most unsettling symptoms of burnout. You might feel emotionally numb, like someone has turned off your feelings entirely. Colors seem duller, music sounds flatter, and the things that once brought you joy now feel completely meaningless. You look in the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back at you. This disconnection happens because your nervous system has been in survival mode for so long that it's essentially numbing itself to protect you from further overwhelm. It's your brain's desperate attempt to cope with constant stress, not a reflection of your character or worth. Sign number 2, you used to be driven and ambitious, but now you can barely get through the day. Here's a crucial distinction between laziness and burnout. Laziness is generally a stable personality trait. Lazy people have typically always been that way. They consistently avoid effort because they simply don't want to exert themselves. It's not that they can't, it's that they choose not to. But burnout operates completely differently. If you were once highly motivated, if you were the person who set ambitious goals, worked hard to achieve them, and took pride in your accomplishments, and now you can barely find the energy to respond to emails, that's not laziness. That's burnout. The key indicator here is change. A lazy person doesn't suddenly become ambitious and then revert back. But a burned out high achiever? They often push themselves so hard that they eventually crash hard. The fact that you once had motivation and drive proves that your current state is not laziness, it's exhaustion at its deepest level. Sign number 3, the things you once loved now feel completely meaningless. Remember when you couldn't wait to pick up your guitar? When painting brought you peace? When hitting the gym or running outside was your favorite part of the day? Remember the excitement of starting a new project or diving into a creative endeavor? Burnout doesn't just drain your energy for work, it drains your energy for everything. The hobbies and passions that once filled you with enthusiasm now feel like obligations. You might even resent them because you associate them with the relentless pressure that burned you out in the first place. This loss of interest isn't because you suddenly became a different person with no interests. It's because burnout affects your brain's reward system. When you're chronically stressed, your dopamine production gets disrupted, making it nearly impossible to experience pleasure from activities that used to bring you joy. Your passions didn't disappear, they got buried under layers of exhaustion. Sign number 4, you've become irritable, moody, and emotionally unpredictable. One of the ironic things about burnout is that it makes you anything but lazy. In fact, burned out individuals are often anything but relaxed. Lazy people are typically described as easygoing, laid back, and unflappable. They simply don't care enough about things to get worked up. But if you find yourself snapping at loved ones over minor annoyances, If small problems send you into emotional spirals, if you feel like you're walking on eggshells in your own mind, that's burnout talking, not laziness. Chronic stress disrupts your emotional regulation. Your fight or flight response becomes triggered by everyday stressors that shouldn't faze you. You might feel angry one moment, sad the next, and numb the moment after that. This emotional roller coaster isn't a character flaw, it's your nervous system screaming for relief. Sign number 5, basic self-care has become impossible to maintain. When you're burned out, even the simplest tasks feel overwhelming. Showering? Exhausting. Cooking a meal? Too much effort. Responding to a text message from a friend? You scroll past it because typing even a few words feels like climbing a mountain. You might notice significant changes in your eating habits, sleeping patterns, and personal hygiene. Maybe you're sleeping too much and still feel exhausted. Maybe you're not sleeping at all. Maybe you're relying on fast food and caffeine because cooking feels impossible. Maybe you've stopped grooming yourself the way you used to. This isn't laziness. This is your body and mind conserving every ounce of energy just to survive. When you're running on empty, self-care is often the first thing to go, not because you don't care about yourself, but because you physically and mentally cannot do anymore. Sign number 6. These changes didn't happen overnight. They developed slowly, stage by stage. Burnout is a gradual process that unfolds in 5 distinct stages, and understanding this progression can help you recognize where you are and take action before things get worse. Stage 1 is the honeymoon phase. You start something new with high energy and satisfaction. Stage 2 brings the onset of stress. Your optimism begins to fade and performance starts declining. Stage 3 is chronic stress. The pressure becomes persistent and overwhelming. Stage 4 is full-blown burnout. You're now experiencing exhaustion, cynicism, and reduced efficacy. And Stage 5 is habitual burnout. The symptoms become embedded in your daily life, potentially leading to depression and anxiety. Unlike laziness, which tends to be relatively constant, burnout develops gradually over time. One day you might notice you're more tired than usual. A few weeks later, you're struggling to focus. A few months after that, you can't remember the last time you felt genuinely happy. This slow progression is exactly what makes burnout so dangerous. By the time you recognize it, you're often already deep in its grip. If any of these 6 signs feel familiar, I want you to give yourself permission to stop calling yourself lazy. You're not lazy. You're exhausted in every sense of the word, physically, emotionally, and mentally. You deserve compassion, not criticism. Here's the important part. Recognizing these signs early makes recovery so much easier. Burnout doesn't have to define your story. With proper support, whether that's therapy, lifestyle changes, boundary setting, or simply giving yourself permission to rest, you can rebuild your energy and your life. If you're struggling, please reach out to a mental health professional. Self-diagnosing can be helpful for understanding, but professional guidance is crucial for real recovery. You deserve support from someone trained to help you navigate this. If this video resonated with you, if you know someone who needs to hear this message, share it. Spread the word that burnout is not laziness. Let's break the stigma together. Take care of yourselves and remember, rest is not a reward. It's a necessity.